Right, year two, another day on pictograms. So you should be doing this lesson on Friday the 15th of January 2021. Before we read our learning question, we're going to count some pictures. So, my key here, I've got how many balls can you see? Yep, there are 5 balls. What about if each ball had a value of 5? We need to count in 5s. Let's go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So if all my pictures had a value of 5, there will be 25 in total. What about if each had a value of 10? Now there are 5 balls. They've each got a value of 10. Do you know already what is the total? It would be 50. Let's just check. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Now, I'll just move this across. If one ball has a value of 10, what would half a ball have a value of? There's one ball. So what would half a ball have a value of? It would have a value of 5. So let's count these now. So I had 50 and 5 more make 55. What about, cover that one up. Now each ball has a value of 2. Count with me. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It would be 10. If I added half a shape on, what would it be now? So if one ball is 2, what's half a shape? If one ball is 2, what would half a shape be? It would be 1. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and one more would be 11. Let's have a look at some fish. How many fish have I got? Can you see? Tell me how many fish? I've got 8. Right, let's say each picture has a value of 5. 8 5s. Do you know that already? 8 5s. What will the total be? Let's count in 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20. What's the total? 40. Well done. I'm going to change the value of the picture now to 10. Okay, so we're going to count each picture in 10s. 10, 20, 30. What's the total now? If each picture is 10, it's 80. Oh, sorry. Let me add half a picture on. So I've got 80 here, and I've got half a picture to add on. If one fish is worth 10, what's half a fish going to be worth? It's going to be worth 5. So I've got 80 and 5 more makes 85. Well done. Cover that one up. And now, each picture has a value of 2. So I've got 8 pictures and they each have a value of 2. Do you know what it is before, without counting? Anybody worked it out? Well, it's 16. Well done if you knew that. Let's count in 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Let's add our half a shape on. So if one shape is 2, what must our half a shape be? It must be 1. So this is 16, and one more makes 17. Oh, we've got some teddies this time. They're not in a row, they're in a column. And each teddy, let's start off, is going to have a value of 5. And I've got, how many teddies have I got? There are 10 teddies there. So, do you know what the total will be if they each have a value of 5 without me counting? I think some of you probably could work it out. Do you know? Well, let's count in 5s anyway. 5, 10, 15, What's the total? 50. Excellent, well done. Now I'm going to change the value of each picture to 10. There are 10 teddies and they each have a value of 10 each. Do you know the total? Do you need to count? Go on, shout out at the video, what do you think the total is now? Right, let's see if you're right. Count in tens for me. 10, 20. Did you get to 100? Well done. Now, what about if I added half a teddy on? 1 teddy is 10. So half a teddy is going to be 5. So I've got 100 and 5 more would be 105. Good job. Now, what about if I change my value to 2? I've got 10 teddies and they each represent 2. What will the total be now? I think, again, some of you should know, but let's count in twos. 2, 4, 6, 8. Did you get to 20? Well done, the total was 20. What about if we added that half a shape back on? So I've got 20 and this half of a shape. If one teddy is 2, half a teddy must be 1. So 20 and 1 more make 21. Good job. Now it's time to read our learning question. Can I interpret pictograms? Now we've had this as a learning question before. Can you remember what interpret means? It means saying what the information is about. Okay, so we've got a pictogram to interpret today, but it's a bit more tricky because each picture, the pictures are going to represent different numbers. It might be 2, 5 or 10. So Jack and Whitney have carried out a traffic survey, okay? And in their pictogram, 1 wheel equals 10 vehicles. Tell me how many vehicles 1 wheel represents. Good job. So what does half a wheel represent? So if 1 wheel represents 10, what does half a wheel represent? It must be 5. 5 vehicles. Okay. So they counted is our sentence stem. We need to say a sentence for each row. Okay, so we're going to interpret and say the information. So let's look at the first row. So 10, 20, it's a van. 10, 20, and half a wheel is 5, so it must be 25. They counted 25 vans. Let's see how many buses they counted. I've got 4 wheels. Do you know how many buses that represents? 4 wheels? It must be 40 buses. Yes, 10, 20, 30, 40. They counted 40 buses. Let's look at the bike column. I've got 3 wheels here. But how many vehicles, how many actual bikes does that represent? 10, 20, 30. They counted 30 bikes. Now the lorry row, the lorries, 2 wheels. It's not 2 vehicles, is it? How many vehicles? 20, 10, 20. They counted 20 lorries. And finally, the cars. Got 5 wheels there, but how many vehicles does that represent? Do you know? It represents 50 cars. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. They counted 50 cars. Well done, you've interpreted the pictogram. Okay, they counted vehicles all together. Can you remember what we have to do when we count vehicles all together? That's right, we have to count all the pictures. Now, I've got one picture, that is a half. I'm going to count that last. So count with me, and I'm going to tick. I love a tick. 10, 20, 30, can't hear you, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Now it's my turn. 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160. This one's worth 5, so we add 160, and 5 more is 165. So remember, all together questions, you have to count them all. But remember to count in the right number. How many more cars than lorries are there? Right, do you remember with how many more questions? We have to draw our bar around the correct row. So, how many more cars than lorries? I'm going to draw a bar around the cars, nice and neatly, just round the pictures. Which other row am I going to draw a bar around? The lorries. There. Now, if I look, I can see that it's this section here that I'm going to have to count. This is the bit that's how many more. Is it 3 though? No. It's 10, 20, 30. So there are 30 more cars than lorries, okay? Because that's the extra part. So how many more questions you've got to draw a bar around the correct row? Okay, I've got another one of these. How many more buses than vans are there? So, shout out. I'm going to draw my bar around which row? That's right, buses. I'm going to draw my bar around which other row? Vans. Now, this section here tells me how many more. But if you look, I've got half a wheel and a full wheel. So one wheel is 10, and what's this half a wheel? That's right, it's 5. So 10 and 5 make 15. So there are 15 more buses than vans. That was tricky, that one. Okay, so are you ready to get your reasoning and thinking caps on? The same pictogram, okay? Jack says, if I add the number of lorries and bikes together, then it will equal the number of cars. So, what's he saying? The number of lorries is here, and the number of bikes. Okay? That's got to be the same or equal to the number of cars. Okay. Well, first of all, let's add together the bike and the lorry rows. Are you ready? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So the lorries and bikes make 50. So if Jack's correct, the car row should be 52. Let's count. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Well done, Jack. The number of bikes and lorries together is the same as the number of cars. You've got a question like that to do today. Quite tricky, but have a go. Okay, now it's time to open up your maths booklet to page 12 and 13. You've got these 2 pages to do today in your booklet. I'll put some audio on the next slides to help you. There it is. And we want to see that work emailed to teachersyear2@birchfields.manchester.sch.uk. Keep aiming high. Well done, everyone.